Hello, thank you very much for tuning into this section of reads. This should be viewed on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca, just to be sure that's where you're seeing it. If you're not, let me know, or, go to YouTube to make sure you're getting the right one. Also, I am doing in-person readings in Herkimer, New York. If you're near there, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll give you more details. The dice and decks that I'm using, that information should be below. Other than that, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for when you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Capricorn? There's a big breath before we started that. Like, what's that about? Oh, these are good cards, but there might be a new beginning going on here. A new beginning is stressful, in my opinion. Especially when it comes to Capricorn, in my opinion, because when it has some merit behind it, there's a lot that you put into it. If it's, if there's a lot you're expecting out of it, you put a lot into it. I think that's what I'm coming into. There might be a switching of the guard, too. A switching of the guard. Okay. You might actually prefer that. Let's get a little farther down the line here before we get too much into this. Boom. And that one flew right off the table. That makes me really, really curious what that's going to be. Recognition? It doesn't say recognition, but I keep getting something about recognition. Okay, so something, I feel like you're trying to hold your ground, which I cringe that I even said it that way, because I got a lot of Capricorns in my family. And it's not like Capricorn tries to hold their ground. Oh, they hold their ground. They do. I don't know anybody who can hold it better. Even Taurus, I swear Capricorn does it better. They just will not let go. It's just my experience with Capricorn. We got a lot of them in my family, and it's just like, you push them, you're gonna regret it, because it's not gonna go well. So when I'm feeling this and I'm getting you're trying to hold your ground, I'm like getting the question mark, like, why are we saying trying? Because I think what's going on here is, even though you're holding your ground, and you will hold it as long as you see fit, I really don't have any question mark about that. Not that part, but you're probably going through it like, for why? What am I doing here? Am I proving anything to myself? Because you can hold. You can. But Capricorn gets smart, especially over time. And you realize sometimes people just push you to their benefit. They want you to hold your ground so they can do what they want to do, because you're going to be busy holding your ground. And I feel like when Capricorn's like, wait. What's going on here? Is somebody just trying to manipulate me? Is this serving me? Wait a minute. Capricorn's in control. What do you want? And I feel like I'm looking through like, I see somebody peeping through the blinds. Like peeping through the blinds, like, wait a minute, what's going on over there? What are those people doing? While I'm holding it over here, what are these other people doing? Like, why is this? Because I feel like people are expecting you to hold your ground, and you're like, well, is this working for me? And I feel like you're really putting a lot of effort on that. Is this working for me? There's a separation between these two cards. There's a separation between healing and deciding what you need for you out of this situation. And it may surprise other people that you can let go when you've decided it doesn't serve you. Capricorn is a very determined energy. But when you're in your power moment, you will let go of things that you're like, no, that's actually stopping me from getting to my goal. This, what used to be a benefit, is now becoming a detriment, and I don't want that to keep growing. So I'm gonna have to do something with that, and I'm gonna have to let that go, because it's not serving me like it used to. It's just not. So it's kind of like, maybe you liked like eggplant when you were younger and you used to love it, but now it's like maybe you're developing an allergy to it. Blows me away that things like that happen. But as you get older, you sometimes develop allergies, and sometimes the things you used to love. But anyway, and it's kind of like, ooh, all right, maybe I got to change. And it's your terms. It's you making this decision. It's nobody else doing anything. It's your business. You're doing what you need to do, but you're moving forward. You're healing. You're like, okay, I need to change something here because this used to, or I used to think it did, but now I'm like, there might be new information that came in. Like, I used to think this person was a good person. I used to think they had my back, so I always looked out for them. I always kept them around. But I'm starting to see, like, that maybe isn't the case anymore. Now that I'm not as much value to them as I used to be, or vice versa, things are changing. Things are developing, and I'm seeing a different level, a different angle of them, maybe an angle that I don't really care for. And things are kind of moving around. You're making decisions at this point. I feel like you're making decisions, and I feel like I keep stepping back, and it feels very private to you, in the sense of like, you know what, maybe I'm done with this. And it's not like I'm going to burn the bridge, but I might like just close it. I might not burn the bridge, but I might close it. You know, and when you close the bridge, you can reopen it if you need to. You know, every now and then, maybe you'll check on it, make sure it's still in workable condition. But you might close it and be like, yeah, we're just not going to use that bridge anymore. Because I feel like I don't want to burn the bridge, but I'm like, we might close it down for a while. It seems like it's time for this. The thing is, where I see this going, you might close that bridge, but the other person might burn it. Just be aware of that. But you might learn a lot that you need to learn if that's what happens. Because I'm kind of getting like, I'm going to close that bridge for now. I'm going to change what I'm doing. And I don't care if anybody else likes it. I'm going to do what I need to do for me. It's stressful here a little bit in this moment, because there is some weird energy that happens from this point. When you step away from whatever this is, it could be like, it reminds me of like people like pulling back from doing too much work doing too much at work, where, you know, I'm not going to bend over backwards anymore and do backflips. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to do what everybody else does, because like, I feel like a lot of us have had these jobs where you go crazy, or you try to do what you think is going to move you ahead, and you're like, it doesn't matter how much I do. The person over there does half as much as I do, but we still get paid the same, and we still move forward the same. So why am I trying to like impress people and get them to move me further ahead and help me make more money, when you clearly, it doesn't matter. You just show up and hit the time clock and sit down to your computer, and that's apparently all you need to do. So maybe I should just kind of think about what I want to do. And I feel like if you came to that decision, it wasn't over a too small of a period. It was like over a longer period. Like, nope, this keeps happening. It doesn't really matter. So why am I breaking myself in half over this? There's something about this where I feel like you've been putting in a lot of effort, and it's not been wasted, but at the same time, it has not paid off the way it should have. I keep seeing like I'm putting in all this effort, and somebody else who's doing half or less than I am seems to be getting the same result. And I'm just like, what is the deal? Like, what? Like, it's not wasted effort, but it's like, I don't understand how come I do twice as much and end up with the same payout? Like, what's up with that? I'm pulling the energy back. I feel the energy being pulled back. And this is what I need to do, is what I keep doing. And I'm creating something here. And I'm just kind of like, I don't think I'm even talking about it. I'm just like, well, let's see if anybody notices. And let's see, like, you know, does this give me a bargaining chip? I don't think there's a bargaining chip to be had here. I'm getting this Eight of Swords in the environment. I don't think there's a bargaining chip to be had. Be careful. You have to do what you think is right. I feel like that's obvious. Be careful about being too noticeable at this point. Be careful about being too noticeable. I keep getting that. Whatever this is, like if we're going to use the job analogy, and you just go down to the normal level, like everybody else is doing half as much as I am and getting paid the same. We're all getting paid the same. So I'm getting, don't bring attention to it. Don't bring attention to yourself at first. At least at first. And then, if you're not already, do the job the way you feel it should be done. Take that with a grain of salt. If it's a job thing or whatever it is, maybe it could be a home thing. It could be a friendship thing. Whatever it is, if there's parts of this, you're like, that's really not the right way to do that, but that's what they wanted, so that's how I did it. Do it your way. Take that with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. Like, do what you feel is right, but I'm getting, do it your way. Because I feel like, you know, let it be noticed that way. Take it with a grain of salt. Because I keep getting something about this, be you and don't be afraid. Do it the way that you know is right. You know is right, at least for you, at the very least. Kind of like, well, you know, this could go better if we did it this way. You know what? I don't take this with a grain of salt because I don't even see, I'm not even considering asking anybody. I'm just doing it. Take it with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only because I'm like, that could be a moment. Be careful. Evaluate it yourself, which I know you will. Make sure that makes sense. Because I feel like I'm changing things. And I feel like I'm sick of wasting my time. I'm sick of wasting my time, so I'm going to do things differently. And things that make better sense for me. And things that fit better for myself. I'm not going to do, you know, 150 effort and end up getting just 100% back like everybody else is getting. I'm not going to do that anymore. That makes no sense. Or 200 effort and get 100% back. Like everybody else just does their normal thing. I'm not doing that. So I feel like I'm bringing the energy more into my control with that. I do feel like you are bringing the energy more into your control at that point. What is this? This is upside down. The Strength card with Stay the Course reversed, which I feel like this is the only card that came in upside down. And I feel like they're trying to make a big point. Like, we don't want to go back to doing things the way things have been done. That wasn't working for you. I feel like you were maybe holding the situation up. Like, holding the situation on your own shoulders, and other people weren't doing as much as they should have been. And it's kind of like, this isn't working. This isn't serving us. We shouldn't be doing that. Be careful about going back to the way things work, because I do think there'll be some type of conversation at some point where they try to get you to do that. Be careful of that. There's a changing of the guard. I keep getting that. Something is changing here. And I feel like by you doing things differently, it's a general read, take it with a grain of salt, but I feel like you're going to get an advantage with that. We don't want to go back to the way things were. Be careful of that. Because I feel like somebody's trying to get you to do that, but it might be last ditch effort before something changes anyway. By you doing things differently, you're included in this next situation. Whatever that is. Something is moving on. Something that I feel like does not match you. The loyalty does not come towards you with this card. This rush to keep things working forward and to keep people together is not including you for some reason. And something is moving on or moving away from you. I'm trying to understand what else is going, because I'm getting like with this lady with her arms folded, like somebody, like they don't want to include you. They don't want to anyway. But you doing this, all this, as this is happening, I feel like this is creating a change other than you putting up with something that doesn't want you there anyway. And it's giving you an opportunity. Something comes out of this where I feel like you're going to need to make a choice. And I'm getting that with the High Priestess, which the High Priestess balances what's good and what's bad, and like kind of like it's all a part of the same thing. You know, there's good things here and there's things that aren't good here, but it's all the same package. It's kind of like dealing with a child that has behavioral issues. It's not all bad, but it's not all good either. And it's kind of like, this isn't something we're going to throw away. We got to find out how do we do this differently? How do we work this out? How do we make more of this situation? Like, you don't throw away a child just because they have behavior issues, but it takes a bit of work and it's not easy, but there's more development that has to happen here. And I feel like that's what's coming in. By you going this route and taking these movements forward, you're going to be in more of a power position to help things reconstruct. Is it reconstruct, or did I get that wrong? Because I said that and I immediately felt a little awkward. I don't know about reconstruct. Construct, yes. I don't know about reconstruct, but construct, yes. Whatever that means. Yeah, there's things, I'm not going to have the luxury to just think everything out, and I'm going to have to work with other people. but like there's a bit of stability you lend to a situation. I feel like I don't have the total comfort to think about it and sort it out in my way, but I do have input and I am able to put my energy forward. I'm able to make good decisions. I feel like due to the movement forward and how fast it's probably going a little bit faster than I really care for, but at least I'm able to be heard. At least my information is being absorbed. And I feel like every now and then you'll probably try to tell people, like, if we slow this down a little bit, we can make better decisions. You could try, obviously. I don't know if that's going to work so much, because it's like the bus keeps moving. It's kind of like, all right, we're going down the road at 60 miles an hour, and you're telling me, okay, within 15 minutes, we're going to come up to this turn. I only have 15 minutes to decide which way we need to go. Do we want lunch? Do we not want lunch? You don't know? Okay, maybe we'll wait for lunch until 1. Okay, keep going this way. It's kind of like, all right, I made a good decision, but maybe if you slow down a little bit to 30 miles an hour, we could get better, or you gave me a longer time to know what you were going to do. Maybe we could make better decisions, but I made good ones based on what you were giving me. And I feel like I'm in a position like that, where that's where this seems to be ending up. It's not bad, but there is this, like, you might be advancing at somebody else's chagrin. Because whatever changes here in that energy that wants to block you out, I feel like they kind of do. But when they do, you make advantage out of that. You seem to flourish with it. You seem to take it on to the next level, and you do even better than you were. And I'm getting like this person, whoever this is them later after you advance and they don't, or you get something and they don't really like that you get something. They seem to be very bent out of shape about it. They seem to be very upset, and they can't seem to absorb what they need to absorb from it. I don't know how or why this person seems to be still lingering around, but they seem to kind of be around there. I would just leave them to their own. That is their responsibility to deal with life and what choices they made. I would just leave them to their own. Sort it out yourself, person. Because there's this card coming up and down, because this is the one that fell on the floor. They're saying it's a kind of a wild card. Do they have the ability to figure out and make better decisions? Will they? And I just feel like they're saying that person, if they're gonna do that, that's something they have to hash it out, sort it out, feel it out, and make better decisions, because it's got to be a root thing, and they have to deal with the root reason about why they're feeling the way they're feeling and why they did what they did. If they can get down to the root and they can pull that root, they can do better. But you never know what's going on in people's heads. That's something they have to get down and do. That's not something you could get down, or even would want to anyway, but just so you know. So if somebody's like bitter about this afterwards when you move ahead, just let them be bitter all on their own. Don't let that energy drag you down. That's a them problem. Let's stay a them problem. That's what I would say. Anything else? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.